perhaps allow me to bring on stage a gentleman who knows a little bit more than myself about the relationship, especially when you're talking about a bank and a telco coming together in the quest to transform lives. So ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring on stage Mr. Eric Muriuki-Njagi, who is the Director for Digital Business at NCBA Bank, to talk to us about this incredible partnership. Eric, karibu.
Good afternoon. I will go through the protocols again, so allow me. Mr. John Gashora, my Group Managing Director at the NCBA Group. Mr. Paul Russo, Group CEO for KCB Group. Mr. Peter Ndegwa, the Chief Executive Officer of Safaricom. And Michael Joseph. My colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I trust all protocols are observed. My brief is actually quite simple. I wish to share with you just a brief history of and some narratives of the financial inclusion story in Kenya and the digital financial services journey that we have been very privileged to be a part of. And also set the stage for the distinguished speakers that shall be coming to make some very exciting announcements. My brief remarks then, since I'll not be making any announcements myself, may run the risk of being termed hot air, given the inevitable task of being an opening act. But to tell the NCBA story, one has to acknowledge the privilege we've had to work with our partner Safaricom, have been the pioneer of digital credit and really beyond digital credit, pioneer in digital financial services. A journey that we walked with Safaricom together, making significant investments, learning great lessons since our initial collaboration back in 2007 with the launch of Mpya. We again came together in 2012 to respond to what at the time was the strongest voice by Safaricom customers, or specifically Mpya customers, to their contact center, where customers sought to benefit from their retained deposits on the Mpya wallets. And that set the stage for us to launch the precedent-setting Mshwari back in 2012. Specifically, we sought to solve very specific problems that customers had called out at the time. One, the cost of access to financial services. Before Mshwari, and actually even before Mshwari, beyond payments, the only form of low-value credit was from informal lenders. The other problem we had sought to solve was to provide safe and convenient mechanisms for saving. And this really was the greatest call by customers of Mpya at the time. But also, as we went about to solving these two problems, we also recognized that one of the benefits that customers of Mshwari immediately called out was the dignity that comes when seeking and accessing credit. We also are able to smoothen cash flows for households, particularly wage earners and informal traders. And that really is a very important job that we've been proud to continue performing. In 2019, another opportunity for even greater collaboration, and then going beyond just NCBA and Safaricom, we also brought on board our other distinguished partner, KCB, to launch Fuliza. Fuliza had a very specific problem to solve, given that digital credit by 2019 was already a very well-established product category in the country. Fuliza specifically sought to address the need for ad hoc credit. At the same time, one will recall that in the periods of 2015 to 2018, significant investments had been made towards the development of payment acceptance networks, and primarily led by Safaricom with the LIP and Mpya service. And the other important job that Fuliza then sought to do was to catalyze C2B, or LIP and Mpya transactions, so that customers are not having their transactions declined when seeking to make payments at merchant locations. At the time when we were setting up Fuliza, the qualification criteria for accessing digital, or rather an overdraft digitally, was essentially we sought to measure the customer's regularity of inflows into your mobile money wallet, and particularly seeking to address the 4 to 7 day, very short-term credit need at the time. That was back in 2019. We all are very well aware of the unexpected or the black swan event that the world had with COVID-19. And what we got to observe is that unexpectedly, the availability of Mshwari and Fuliza during COVID became a very, very important aid to Kenyans during and post the pandemic period. We saw demand for Fuliza grow from an average of about 1.4 million loans per day pre-COVID to just about 4.5 million loans soon after COVID, and that has persisted to date. So it's really important for one to then appreciate that the two products set out to serve two very different credit needs. For Fuliza, being an ad hoc credit solution, whereby your access to credit is really driven by your mobile money turnover, whilst Mshwari could be termed differently as more of planned credit, where a customer has 30 days or has access to a 30-day term loan with an option to roll over for another 30 days. And the velocity and size or magnitude with which your Mshwari credit then grows is driven more by your savings behavior. So it's very important for one to appreciate that difference. So today's announcements are a first of a series of changes to these two products. We are soon celebrating Mshwari's 10th year anniversary in the month of November, having launched on the 27th of November back in 2012. And with that, we shall be introducing further improvements to how customers understand and use both Mshwari and Fuliza. Our customers will benefit from a more customer-centric rather than product-centric approach to service management. Further, we recognize the need to invest or to continue investing much more in consumer education to ensure customers make better informed choice on when and how to use an overdraft relative to when and how to use a term loan to be able to respond appropriately to the credit need they would have at the time. And as I conclude, we do appreciate the very significant role we play with regards to financial inclusion. And I just want to call out some of this, the importance of financial inclusion to all stakeholders. Beyond just launching products and signing up new customers, financial inclusion benefits consumers with enhanced, or rather with safer financial services, and also with greater access to financial services. It also does benefit suppliers by lowering the cost to serve. But even greater is the visibility offered by the data and insights that are then now accessible to regulators and policymakers who will use this to continue enhancing the effectiveness of policy and expanding our financial markets. So this mission of financial inclusion is one that NCBA remains very committed to for the betterment of our society. Thank you and have a good afternoon.
Thank you, Eric, for setting the stage. It's amazing that an overdraft facility could have such great impact on an economy like this, and drawing the lessons from the COVID pandemic and the fact that this is actually financial inclusivity manifest. And I think it's exciting to wonder what more could be, because like we're saying, everybody is talking about this great need to access credit in an affordable manner, in a manner that is dignified. And I guess the next step of conversations would be how then would that ensure that even the data that is collected while you access this could be used for your good. We're talking about credit referencing, and how could that be used as an enabler of trade. And so, ladies and gentlemen, this afternoon we'll continue to hear about the transformational impact of these
financial inclusion. Kenya today is ranked third highest in Africa, and only second to Seychelles and South Africa. And there's one indicator that we've been tracking for quite some time, and that is the financial inclusion, where today that number or that figure is about 83% and above. But if you really want to measure the real transformation or the real impact of financial inclusion, then we need to go deeper and look at other dimensions. And today, as much as we are very proud of the financial inclusion measure today we have, there are other dimensions that really matter. And one of the dimensions is access. This is where we measure the real depth of outreach of the financial services product that we introduced. And that's a key metric if you're looking at transformation. The second one is usage. And this is more to do with the consumption. How is it impacting households? But if you're looking at all these dimensions, there's one thing that you cannot forget. For each of these dimensions, there is a barrier. And these are the barriers that we have to keep looking at continuously. As Safaricom, technology.
Check 1 2.